Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Today, me and Shania will be presenting our topic for the course Evaluation of International Relations, which is titled Congress of Vienna 1815 versus the United Nations 1945 as Institutions of International Order. This presentation is based on our written report, but instead of reading it word for word, we will explain the ideas in a clearer and more conversational way. We will also share what we personally gained from studying this topic and why it is important for understanding international relations today. Our presentation will be divided into several parts. First, I will briefly explain the historical background of both institutions. Then, I will discuss the Congress of Vienna, followed by the United Nations. After that, Shania will compare their similarities and differences. And finally, we will reflect on what this topic teaches us about international order and global politics. To begin with, it is important to understand that both institutions were born out of war. The Congress of Vienna was established in 1815 after the Napoleonic Wars had devastated Europe for more than 2 decades. At that time, European states were exhausted by continuous conflict, territorial changes, and political instability. The main concern of European leaders was very simple. How do we prevent another Napoleon from rising again? As a result, stability became the highest priority, even more important than democracy or popular rights. Meanwhile, the United Nations was founded in 1945 after World War II, a conflict that was far more destructive and global in scale. Unlike the Napoleonic Wars, World War II involved entire societies, advanced weaponry, genocide, and mass civilian casualties. Because of this, the UN was created not just to manage power among states, but also to promote peace, cooperation, and international law on a global level. What we learn here is that institutions of order are always shaped by the trauma of the wars that precede them. The Congress of Vienna was a diplomatic conference held between 1814 and 1815, involving the major European powers such as Austria, Britain, Russia, Prussia, and later France. One interesting feature of the Congress is that it did not aim to punish France harshly, even though France had caused widespread war under Napoleon. Instead, the goal was reconciliation and reintegration. This shows that the leaders at the Vienna believed peace could only last if all major powers felt secure within the system. The key principles guiding the Congress were legitimacy and balance of power. Legitimacy meant restoring traditional monarchies that had been overthrown by Napoleon. Balance of power meant ensuring that no single state could dominate Europe again. This system later evolved into what is known as the Concert of Europe, which relied on informal meetings and diplomatic cooperation rather than formal institutions. From studying this case, we learned that peace can sometimes be maintained through restraint and cooperating among powerful states, even without written laws or permanent organizations. However, the Congress of Vienna was also deeply flawed. It was conservative, elitist, and ignored the voices of ordinary people. Nationalism and liberalism were suppressed, which eventually led to revolutions later in the century. The United Nations represents a very different approach to international order. Established in 1945, the UN was designed as a permanent, legal and global institution. It began with 51 member states and has since expanded to nearly every country in the world. The foundation of the UN is the United Nations Charter, which clearly outlines principles such as sovereign equality of states, prohibition of the use of force, collective responsibility for peace, respect for international law. Unlike the Congress of Vienna, the UN operates through formal organs like the General Assembly and the Security Council. The Security Council in particular has the authority to authorize peacekeeping missions and sanctions. However, one important lesson we learned is that power politics still exist within the UN. The veto power of the 5 permanent members often leads to deadlock, showing that even a legal institution cannot escape political realities. Despite these challenges, the UN remains the most ambitious attempt to manage international order through cooperation rather than domination.
I will explain about comparative framework. When comparing the Congress of Vienna and the United Nations, several similarities become clear. Firstly, both were created after major war with the intention of preventing future conflict. This shows that war often acts as a catalyst for institutional innovation. Secondly, both systems relied heavily on the cooperation of great power. In the Congress of Vienna, peace depends on consensus among European powers. In the United Nations, peace often depends on agreement within the Security Council. Thirdly, the institution prioritized on order and stability over rapid change. Neither system was designed to radically transform global politics overnight. And the difference is, despite these similarities, the difference between the two institutions are significant. The Congress of Vienna was limited to European, dominated by monarchy, informal and non-institutional. In the contrast, the United Nations is global in scope, is exclusive of sovereign states, based on written rules and permanent institutions. This reflects a measure of shift in international relations from elite diplomacy to multilateral governance. Studying in this difference helps us understand how concepts like sovereignty, equality, and law have evolved over time. What we gain from studying this topic, one of the biggest lessons we gain is that international peace is fragile and complex. We learn that institutions alone cannot prevent war. They must be supported by political will, cooperation, and adaptation to new realities. This topic also helps us appreciate why international institutions are often criticized but still necessary. Without them, global politics would rely purely on power and conflicts. Most importantly, we learn that international order is continuous process and not a final achievement. From an academic perspective, this cooperation strengthens our understanding of international relations stories. The Congress of Vienna realized ideas such as balance of power, while the United Nations incorporates liberal ideas like cooperation and institution. This topic helps us see how theory and practice interact in real-world politics.
In conclusion, the Congress of Vienna and the United Nations represent two different models of international order shaped by the historical context. While the Congress relied on elite diplomacy and balance of power, the United Nations represents a global, rules-based system of collective security. By comparing these institutions, we gain valuable insight into how international relations have evolved and why maintaining peace remains one of the greatest challenges in global politics. That's all from us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.